Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcur YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Also check out our Instagram at Carryandcut or Patreon at Carryandcut. Really do appreciate all the support from the patrons out there. All the proceeds go directly back in the channel to buy new knives and new equipment to make the quality and the content better for you guys. So today, what are we looking at here? We got the Kizer LP EDC. This is another one of Jimmie Crowe's knife from his personal collection. So Jimmie, really do appreciate you supporting the channel. Means the world to me. And so this thing is a pretty cool knife. It's simple, classy, and very effective, and I might say very smooth at the same time. So this thing has an almost perfect drop shut action on it. And the price point of this is coming in at is under $50. So $48.74 is what I could find on my Amazon link. And I will have this thing linked down in the description below, so make sure you go check it out. Now, there was a limited quantity. I think there's only like 20 left on the exact listing that I was looking at. So definitely pretty cool. Nice to see that Kizer is coming in at such a a great value and price on this thing. And if you guys, I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with Kizer at this point in time. They are definitely one of the more, I don't want to say premium. They're definitely a premium knife company, but from a knife manufacturer that's coming out of coming out of China. Geez, that was hard to get out. For a company that is producing their knives in China, Kizer is definitely almost way up there at the top tier. I would definitely say that, especially their stuff coming out in 2024. It is great. I'm not sure exactly when this model came out. I know it's not a new model, but it's definitely a good one. I will say that. So we have this did come in a Jade G10 handle. Jimmie, the knife doctor, he does all of the awesome modifications that he does, and so this came in a Jade G10, and he dyed this what was it? A sunshine orange, it's called. So probably a synthetic RIT dye, sunshine orange. We do have some semi-contoured G10 scales on it. I really do like that, and we do have a deep carry clip. So Kizer does a really good job with their clips. This thing is great. Really, a lot of retention on it. We do have flush-mounted screws in the actual clip itself. The clip is not flush mounted into the handle, but the screws are flathead, so that is definitely nice to see. This is an Azo design. We do have I'm going to call this a sheep's foot blade. It's kind of a mix between a Wharncliffe and a sheep's foot. We pretty much have a exactly straight edge on it, but it's kind of like a sheep's foot in the profile. At least that's the way I'm thinking of this. We do have a 154 cm blade on this thing. Kizer does a very fantastic job in their 154 cm. We do have a nice kind of deep hollow grind on this thing. Pretty awesome. We do have only one means of deployment, flipper tab, but it does work exceptionally well. I like when they have their flipper pretty much right in line with the pivot, maybe just a little bit above it. Makes for incredible flipping action. We do have a nice, really aggressive long row of jimping on the actual spine of the blade here, and we do have some jimping over on the flipper tab as well. It's definitely way more spaced out than the actual jimping on the spine is, but it still does work pretty well. We do have full length steel liners on this thing, and it is a liner lock. Might as well go ahead and include that one in there. And we do have some weight relief going on inside the liners. You guys can kind of see that in there. There's definitely some holes punched out. There's some right there. There's some holes punched out in the inside there to keep the weight down. And I kind of like how they have the actual scales a little bit narrower than the actual liner is itself. I'm kind of a big fan of this, where you can see the actual liner on the outside of the scale. It just makes it, kind of look really classy. And this thing, the blade almost gets swallowed up inside the whole entire handle there. So that is nice. I would almost consider this kind of like a gentleman's carry, sort of. It's not like thin. It's not like a CEO flip or anything like that. But it's still a really nice design. It's thin. It's minimal. There isn't a whole bunch going on this thing, which, there has to be something, said for that. It's definitely a great design. It's not not revolutionary, not groundbreaking, but it still is really nice. And we could even they even have a spot for a lanyard in there too. So Steven, you're going to be excited about that one as well. So overall, this thing is definitely really sweet, and for under $50, you really can't get much better action than that. And we do, I'm pretty sure, almost positive, we do have bearings in the pivot on this thing, which you're pretty much to be expected with Kizer nowadays, and that action is just incredible. So it's kind of like if you guys watch the Knife Center, I watch David C. Anderson all the time, and he kind of describes bearing as like a glassy feeling, and then like phosphor bronze, kind of like a buttery feeling, I guess you could say. And I'm a big fan of phosphor bronze washers as well, but I do like some bearings. They are a little bit more, susceptible to damage, I guess you could say, with like dirt and debris and dust and all that kind of stuff, but it still is nice. and I really do like them. So there's kind of a better picture of your contour. You can kind of see we got some rounded off edges going on here, which is definitely going to be nice. And it's kind of raised up a little bit there for the actual pocket clip itself, but real smooth, kind of like a, I don't even call it peel ply. It's nothing like the CJRB here. You know, this has a kind of like an aggressive traction on it. This is a pretty well smoothed off G10, but it still works very well. We're looking at T6, I'm pretty sure, for the body screws. You know, T6 for the body screws, and we're looking at T8 for the pivot. Just about guarantee that. Yep, T8 on the pivot. We do have a captive pivot on the one side, so that's always nice to see. And we got T6 on the pot clipper there also. So there really is no gripes about this knife, I guess you could say. It would be nice to have a thumb stud right there, but that is definitely not a deal breaker for me. I like thumb studs, not the hugest fan of them, but I do like a whole deployment. That is my favorite means of actually deploying a knife, but you know, this thing still works very well. And that action, I cannot get over that. The first time that I actually flipped this thing, it was incredible when I let some of the people I work with mess with this thing also, and they were pretty blown away about the action on this thing. And you know, a lot of people are coming from, you know, I want to say Chinese knives, but like gas station knives or something like that, which people, you know, a lot of random normal people, I don't want to even say that, I want to say knife people are normal, but regular everyday people don't understand what's actually going on with knives when you're thinking of like a, you know, cheap gas station knife, or even when you get into like the Kizers and keep working your way up, the more expensive tiers you go, you know, they just don't understand that. So it is going to be nice to see. Let's go ahead and get some size comparisons. I'm definitely rambling on way too much now. Let's go ahead and look at the Spyderco Delica. We are definitely going to be bigger than the Delica, probably about an inch or so at least. I know I skipped over the overall measurements. We will get to that. How about the CJRB Hectare? Did a little comparison there with the G10s on this thing, and we're definitely going to be bigger than that. How about the Ontario Rat Model 2? Bigger than that yet. How about the Benchmade 940? Now we're getting up in a similar territory right there, so that's going to be pretty much identical size. Then how about the TRM Neutron 2? Definitely a little bit smaller or bigger than that one. Alright, let's go ahead and do some overall size on this one. So from tip to the end, we are looking at 7 3/4 of an inch, or just thereabout. Total blade length is looking at 3.5-ish inches, almost 3.5. Sharpened edge is a little bit more than 3.25. So that's going to be pretty nice. That's a great size. That 3.25 inch size range is going to be my favorite for a pocket knife. And then let's go ahead and get Mrs. Carryandcut's kitchen scale out. Get a little weight on this dude. Alright, we'll zero it out, and we're looking at 3.6 ounces, so that's almost of your ounce per inch on the blade, which a lot of people like to, like to get to that. Another thing I just really, recognizing is this sharpening choil and plunge grind. They do a very good job on that. You're definitely going to be able to get a couple of sharpenings out of that before you start to see any kind of weird stuff going on right there. And with the aggressive, nice hollow grind on this thing, you're going to get a lot of, good life out of it. A couple sharpenings, you're not going to actually mess with your edge geometry and the thickness of your edges, which definitely be nice to see. And we do have a nice robust tip on this thing. That's a good thing about hollow grinds too at the same time, especially this one right here. Your tip is going to be nice and strong all the way out to the end. So I really do like to see that. Really nice satin finish on this blade. Definitely going to be a fingerprint magnet though. So let's go ahead and wipe that thing down. Definitely great to see. I guarantee this thing is screaming sharp. I know Jimmy likes to keep his knives super well taken care of, sharpened and cleaned. And we are going to do a disassembly maintenance video on this thing just to show how this thing comes apart. That'll be the next video you guys see. Let's go ahead and test this edge out. So this edge is, just completely crazy sharp. Oop, got a little away from us right there. So when you do the whole diagonal S's and curves when you're actually doing your cutting, that's how you know you got a nice sharp edge on your knife. So pretty cool. This knife is definitely impressive for the price point of less than $45. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that Amazon link out that I have if you are interested in getting this knife. I know that they are going to be limited quality, and they do also have like a black edition. I don't know if it has a black blade. I think it does, but it's kind of like a black and gray G10 on the handle. I don't know if you guys can kind of see the waviness they have got going on there. I think that's actually just like the milling lines that they have. on the contouring. So definitely pretty nice. So overall, this is going to be a win for me. I really do like it, and I would definitely consider picking one up on my own for my own personal collection. There's a nice little close-up of that 154 cm. I love how they don't do any crazy big, billboard or anything like that on their blades. Definitely good. Overall, just a nice, classy, simple pocket knife with incredible action and a great flipper tab. So until next time, thanks guys.